Welcome to Productivity for Solopreneurs, where each Wednesday at 1 p.m. I share insights to getting things done. And today is live number 117, and we are talking about how do you make sure that the important stuff of your business gets done. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Evie Burke, and I help women entrepreneurs in the distraction in their business so they can increase their profitability. They have lots of things they want to get done. They have lots of places to be, and they want to make sure that wherever it is that they are spending their time for their business, that they're doing it in a way that they're making the most impact for themselves and for their business. And that's what I help them do. So something that has come up over the last couple of weeks in conversations is how do I make sure that the important stuff in my business gets done? And this question isn't coming from new business owners. This question is coming from people who have run profitable businesses for at least a couple of years. And generally what happens when we start talking about this is we start talking about time blocking. And I love time blocking. I encourage people to do it. It is a wonderful thing to make sure that you are spending the time that you have for your business in the places that you want to. And when you're talking about time blocking, there can be a big temptation to make it into a huge project in an attempt to do it right. So the way that generally looks, and the way that I do it sometimes, because this is a good way to do it, but it is time consuming, is to sit down with all of your to-dos and all of your goals and think about what are the categories that these tasks and the task associated with the goals fall into, and just break everything into broad categories and then divide your time throughout the week into those categories and when you're going to spend time through the week working on each category. And this is a great strategy. This, like I said, this is a way that I do it sometimes, but sometimes this can cause you not to do it because you don't have time to sit down for an hour or 2 or 3 to do the goal setting, to do the brain dump, and then to figure out your categories and then assign the categories throughout your week. It can feel a little overwhelming if you already don't have time to figure out where am I going to find 2 hours to sit down and not only do time blocking, but do goal setting. So what can happen is then you don't do anything. And that's not productive or helpful either. So you continue to be frustrated, and the things that are important continue to not be done and falling to the wayside because you just don't have time to do time blocking the right way, right? So let's talk about a different approach. So instead of like blocking out all of the time through your week after you do goal setting and all that other stuff, what about smaller tweaks that you can make that will move you closer to your goal of working on those important things, whatever that is in your business? So what are those tweaks that you could make? So look at what's not working right now, what you want to have time for that you don't have time for right now, and think about what are some tweaks that you could make to what you're already doing that will allow you to have time for those things. So can you block off time each day to do it? Can you block off maybe a couple of hours a week to work on those things or get those things done? And you don't have to create time blocks for absolutely every category or everything you can think of. Just create one block of time for one particular project or one particular goal or one particular category that you want to be spending some time in, but you feel like you're neglecting it right now. And once you decide what that looks like, put it on your schedule. Like put it into your calendar, block it off so that you don't forget and schedule other things into it. Excuse me. So at the end of the week, you then take a minute and just notice, what worked about having that on your schedule at that time and what didn't work. And then make any adjustments you need for the upcoming week. So just want to take a minute to say hi to the people that join me live. So hi to Mary and hi to Rochelle. Welcome. So let me share a personal example for where I did this and what it looked like. So I started doing a lot of phone one-on-ones with people, and it really started to like fill up my calendar, because wherever I had some time, I would throw somebody on my calendar so that I could meet with them and get to know them better. And I had so much fun. However, I noticed that then some other things weren't happening in my business. I like to check email and social media at the end of every day and plan the next day. And those things just weren't happening the way I wanted them to anymore, because I had scheduled meetings all through the afternoon. I was doing decently well with knowing not to schedule too many meetings in the morning, because that's when I can get like work things done, or meet with clients. But the afternoon was filling up quick, and I wasn't having time to wrap up my day, tie up loose ends, check email, check social media, and plan my day. So I sat down and I thought about it, and I thought, okay, so what change can I make here so that I can get email checked and responded to. I can run through social media checks and just make sure that I'm current on any discussions I want to be current on, and get my day planned. Like what tweak can I make so that those things happen? And I realized that if I gave myself an hour or two at the end of every day, then I could tie up those loose ends. I could check my email. I could check social media. I could plan the next day. So I added a reoccurring appointment every day from 4 to 6 for daily tasks. And daily tasks are just those things that I do every single day. And I would make this time the time to make or return any phone calls that I needed to do that day, that I maybe hadn't already done, tie up any other loose ends that needed to be tied up, check in on my email, respond to any emails that I hadn't responded to, and just clear out any folders, just with a click peruse if I could, and then check social media and plan the next day. And so I did that for about a week, and then I did that just exactly what I told you guys. Is I at the end of the week I said, okay, what is working and what's not working about this? And I realized that I was still having a problem with sometimes I wasn't planning out the next day. And I know for me, if I can plan out the next day before I leave the office at the end of the day, it just makes the next day go a lot faster, a lot better, because I'm not tempted to just be, oh, let me check my email quick and go through that, or let me just do this. If I know I have these things on my agenda to finish before I take my lunch break, then I'm much likely to just get started on it than if I haven't done that planning. Then I might just kind of float around for a little bit and I'm not as productive. So the small tweak I made then to that was, before I went into email or social media, I planned the next day. Because if I ran out of oomph or time before I got all the way through email and social media checks, emails and social media are going to be there tomorrow. And it's not like it's a checkbox that then I have to write down again. It's getting written down again anyway. So just making that small tweak to plan my day before I went into my email and my social media, it made a huge difference. And because I have that in my schedule, I don't forget, and I don't schedule things between 4 and 6 most times. Every once in a while, just based on the day, maybe I'll schedule a client in there. Because again, your schedule needs to work for you. And if you're so tied to your schedule that it's causing you problems, then that's not helpful either, right? So occasionally I will schedule things in there, but for the most part, that's my time, again, to tie up loose ends, plan my day, do email and social media checks. So Let's see. I went slightly off script here, so I'm just making sure I have. Yes, I covered all the bases there off the top of my head, so that's good. So the side effect too of having that scheduled at the end of the day is I can jump into social media or jump into not Facebook, email, and check it really quick just to make sure that a client hasn't requested something that I want to make sure I spend a couple of minutes on or something like that. I can jump in and do that real quick and not be tempted to go through everything because I know I have it scheduled later in the day. So quick recap here is you don't have to do all your time blocking at once. You can do it for just one thing. Just put that one category, that one time block in your calendar, make it repeatable. If there's something that you're continuously running out of time for, again, create that time block for that one thing. It might be 2 hours a week, it might be an hour or two a day, or something else. It's whatever works for you. 3, put that time block on your calendar every week, every day, hit that repeat button or however it works for your online calendar if that's what you use, so you don't schedule other things during that time, or if you do, you're doing it very intentionally. You know that you're doing it and you don't do it all the time. Number 4, just take a moment out of the week, maybe when you're doing your weekly review, maybe when you're planning the next week, and just notice what worked about having that time block or what didn't work. What adjustment might you need to make. And then 5 is adjust your time blocks as needed, right? You're always adjust things as you need to adjust them. So let's see, Rochelle says, yes, putting it on the calendar instead of having it in your head to do, right? So I block that time out in the calendar after I'm used to that time block being there, after it's become a habit and I don't have to think about it anymore, then I might remove it from my calendar. I'm probably a couple of months away from being able to think about doing that. And I have my to-do list. It's on a paper here. I have my to-do list where I put those daily things on my items on my to-do list. It's at the very end where I put down return phone calls, plan tomorrow, and then the daily email, social media, like all those checks, those are on my to-do list. So I still check them off, but I have that time blocked in my calendar so that I don't forget and schedule something else in that spot. So for you guys, if this is something that is impacting you, if you find yourself constantly running out of time or feeling like the important things in your business aren't getting done and you want some help with that, I can help you with that. The easiest way to get some help is to just reach out, whether it's in a private message, in a comment where you say, hey, can we talk about this? And we can get some time scheduled where we can just have a quick conversation, a half hour, 45-minute conversation, and see how I can help you with that. The other thing you can do if you want is you can leave again, you can leave the comment, or you can head over to my website and fill out the contact me form. And again, we can get that time scheduled. So until next week, much love.